This book offers a welcome solution to the growing need for a common language in interfaith dialogue, particularly between the three Abrahamic faiths in our modern pluralistic society. The book suggests that the name given to God in the Hebrew Bible, the New Testament, and the Quran could be the very foundations and building blocks for a common language between the Jewish, Christian, and Islamic faiths. On both a formal interfaith level as well as between everyday followers of each doctrine, this book facilitates a more fruitful and universal understanding and respect of each sacred text, exploring both the commonalities and differences between each theology and their individual receptions. In a practical application of the methodologies of comparative theology, Meerbury shows that the titles, names, and epithets given to God in the sacred texts of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam contribute towards similar image of God in each case and elucidates the importance of this for providing a viable starting point for interfaith dialogues. Okay, the names of the books is the names of God in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, which is a basis for interfaith dialogue. The name of author is Mary Byrne. The name of publisher is Continuum International Publishing Group, and the place of this book at New York. The year publisher of this book is in 2011. The contents that we choose on this book are: the first one is Interfaith Dialogue and Comparative Theology, and the second one is Names and Naming. The third one is Divine Designations in the Hebrew Bible, and the last one is Divine Designations in the New Testament.
Methodology. Dissemination shares the findings through academic publications, presentations, or other appropriate channels to contribute to the ongoing conversation about divine designations. In the New Testament, this methodology provides a structured approach to studying divine designations in the New Testament, allowing for a comprehensive analysis that considers its historical, textual, theological, and ecclesiastical dimensions.
Next, we move on to the items and thoughts. For Chapter 1, Interfaith Dialogue and Comparative Theology. From this chapter, two key ideas that can be gained are: first, understanding the different names and concepts of God in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam can help people from these religions to communicate and learn from each other, which is important for peaceful and respectful conversations about faith. The work highlights the role of Francis X. Cluny as a pioneer in comparative theology and his approach as a comparative theologian. It also touches on the impact of contemporary religious and secular pluralism on the study of religion and theology, advocating for a more sympathetic approach towards other religions. For Chapter 2, Names and Naming. From this chapter, two key ideas that can be gained are: first, the significance of names and naming in various cultural and religious contexts, and their role in human communication and the portrayal of the divine. This includes the anthropological and philosophical perspectives on names, the limitations of language in expressing the divine, and the complexities of using language to describe the divine in religious texts. Second, the concept of anthropomorphism and its implications, particularly in the attribution of human characteristics and qualities to non-human beings, objects, natural or supernatural phenomena. This concept is discussed in the context of the limitations of language in describing non-physical and non-visual experience entities and the challenges of accurately portrayal and explaining such concepts. Next, Chapter 3, Divine Designations in the Hebrew Bible. From this chapter, three key ideas that can be gained are: first, understanding and look at the broad overview of the Tanakh or the Hebrew Bible and exclude texts such as the Mishnah and Talmud. Second, to find the exact meaning or indeed definition of the term is unclear and the various explanations that have been presented, such as the Hebrew Bible, that the text is extremely difficult to translate. Third, to determine the Hebrew word. With the fundamental meaning of to do or to make is used many expressions, usually with the same essential thought. Chapter 4, Divine Designations in the New Testament. From this chapter, three key ideas that can be gained are: first, to teach us that all his deeds and actions are done in obedience to God, a fact that makes a suitable starting point for the next that follows. Jesus has established that his authority comes from the Father, and that in the future he will carry out even greater acts. Second, this seems like a strange idea to readers in the present era. God undoubtedly has more pressing issues to address than the unimportant details of human existence, such as wars, poverty, sins, and so forth. Third, to highlight whether or not the prayer is a personal one. In this sense, it is not a personal or communal prayer that communicates the personal thoughts and ideas of Jesus, his own petitions and needs that he wishes to present to God.
For
For the first chapter, our aims to find a common language among the three Abrahamic, which is faith, Judaism, Christianism, and Islam, and emphasize the importance of understanding and dialogue between different faiths, particularly in the context of the names of gods in sacred texts. It also explores the challenges and potential benefits of merging comparative theology with biblical theology, highlighting the importance of academic scholarship in this area. The document aims to facilitate a deeper understanding and dialogue between different religious traditions. Next, the second chapter is delves into the complexity of naming in different societies and cultures, emphasizing the anthropological and sociological aspect of the naming process. The text also explores the significance of names in various religions, traditions such as Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and highlights the philosophical approach to the names additionally. It addresses the limitation of languages in describing the divine and the challenges posed by anthropomorphism, particularly in the context of comparing human traits to the divine in different religious traditions. This chapter aims about how they make the divine designation in the Hebrew Bible. In this chapter, explain more details. For example, the Tetragrammaton is most likely placed to start an examination of the divine designation in the Hebrew Bible. In short, the pronouncing the Tetragrammaton, Jews and those who wish to show respect will read the name Adonai, my Lord, or Bashem. Literally, the name is in the Masoretic text of the Hebrew Bible. The Tetragrammaton was pointed with the vowels of Adonai. And the last chapter for the study, we will take the commonly accepted theory that the Gospel of Mark is the Gospel. With this in mind, the reference to God in the Gospel narrative are especially important in a historical sense. God is termed a father only in the saying of Jesus.
Conclusions. In the names of the goods mentioned in the Gospel and Paul's writings are not always easy to understand because they often mention God or Jesus in different ways. Many of these names come from the Hebrew Bible and are used to emphasize certain theological ideas. The name helps show the relationship between Jesus and God and how they work together. It is important to remember this when comparing names used in different religions.